My name is Jimmy Dooley. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Biological Sciences at Purdue University. We don't really know why animals twitch when they're asleep. For a long time, there was this thought that this was dreams leaking out of the brain. So when animals dream, you have all of these experiences, and the thought was that you have this imperfect block of that movement. And that actually prevented people from looking into this for a while because there's this consensus that we kind of knew what the answer was. But the point of this paper was to really look at the patterns that you can see. So if you look at, a raccoon's hands, an elephant's trunk, a rat's whiskers, dogs and cats and their legs, you see these specific patterns where particular parts of the body move, and whether or not that's meaningful, we're not too sure yet, but it's definitely telling us this is something that's worth looking into. So a lot of my research has focused on twitching in early development because I found that it's really important for building the maps that our brain has of our body. It's the kind of experience that helps babies learn how they can move. But, in putting this research together and putting this paper together, we found all these videos of adult animals like dogs and cats that keep making these movements, quite a few of them, throughout their entire life. And so the question was, if twitching is important for building these maps in development, what could it be doing in adulthood? And the idea is that it's helping kind of change and calibrate these maps that our brain has of our body across the life, especially in the parts of the body that require the most precision, like our hands, an elephant's trunk, other parts that are very important for certain animals. And so because it requires that precision, by continuing to produce these twitches and by continuing to produce these movements across an animal's lifespan, you can just make sure that the entire system is wired up to be as precise as possible. Well, at a basic level, we all spend a couple of hours every single day in this really bizarre brain state where we're basically hallucinating and we're producing these movements that we don't really know the function of. If you were to describe if an alien were to land on planet Earth and you said, oh yeah, we do this thing every single day where we hallucinate a world and we produce these little movements and we don't know why, that would be like the most important thing you want to figure out about how these animals' brains work. So I think it's an interesting question. But beyond that, if these movements really are important for recalibration, that suggests that they're important for brain plasticity. And so you could imagine individuals who have had a stroke, who have some big change that you need to help rewire their brain for. Understanding how these movements could calibrate our brains throughout our entire lives if we could unlock that plasticity and understand the way that works, that could help people rewire their brains in these periods after they've experienced traumatic events.